Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Sell Medicare by Phone, Part 1. The first question that you might have is why should you even consider selling Medicare plans by phone? Well, there's no definitive number of insurance professionals who are selling Medicare exclusively by phone. It's very, very difficult to pinpoint. But there are some insights that we can gather from data that's been collected. The Commonwealth Fund reports that 96%, nearly all Medicare Advantage and Part D plans have utilized insurance agents for their sales. So the report doesn't specify the exact percentage of phone sales. It is likely that a significant number of those agents who are helping 96% of the people who have Medicare Advantage and Part D prescription drug plans are using the phone to reach their customers simply because it's more efficient. So there's so many online processes and platforms that brokers can use now that can help in the development and creation of Medicare sales by phone. So it's safe to say, it's very safe to say that a substantial portion of licensed insurance professionals are more than likely selling Medicare plans by phone, if not exclusively. So why? Why should agents consider selling by phone? First of all, cost effectiveness. Compared to in-person meetings, phone sales are obviously going to be less expensive for both the agent, the insurance company, and more convenient a lot of times for the customer. Phone sales also allows the insurance professional to actually connect with a broader audience, especially those seniors who may have mobility problems, limitations for getting in and out of the house a lot, problems where they don't have access to actually meeting outside of their homes. So working by phone can enable the customer and the agent to connect more often. Excuse me. So in-person meetings, even if they are online, if you're using online platforms like Zoom or Google Meets or other platforms where you can actually see the customer and the customer can see you, is a way to utilize Medicare sales by phone. It does not necessarily mean that you, the insurance professional, are turning yourself into a Medicare call center, because you're not. The only step that you're taking one step further than what you may be doing now is, instead of drive time, instead of spending windshield time, instead of spending more gas, and instead of spending more time moving from one appointment to another, you're actually stationary in your office or your home office, where you can actually meet the customers face to face through any of the technologies that you choose. So don't misunderstand what I'm asking you to learn. I am not suggesting that you start a call center. Definitely not. The only thing I'm offering is that you're able to extend what you're currently doing to include meeting customers by phone or by a visual platform, and that can give you that broader audience, make it more convenient for both of you and the customer, and also streamline your process so that you can do multiple calls and multiple enrollments and increase your efficiency. Now, there are some positive effects to doing Medicare sales by phone, and there are some negative effects. So let's talk about the positive effects. The positive effects, of course, are what I've mentioned before. You can reach more people. Phone sales will allow you to connect to a wider audience of potential customers compared to the in-person one-on-one sessions. This is especially beneficial, don't forget, for those seniors who may have mobility issues. Another positive effect is the efficiency, being able to handle more calls simultaneously because your process is streamlined and you're moving from one appointment to the other appointment, but you're stationary. So it's all to do with technology and getting your customer. Using the phone and visual effects to sell Medicare can also be cost effective. So compared to actually driving or going to meet someone or going to even meet a group of people, you are not utilizing that drive time and you're saving that gas and automobile travel expense. It is also easier, it may be easier for you to collect the customer data, the demographics, the things such as their doctors and their prescriptions through the visual process. Once you're collecting all of that data, that's what's going to help you, the professional, to decide which of the plans you're actually going to offer. So if you spend the time, that data gathering time, on the phone with the individual rather than meeting in person, and then perhaps having a second meeting, like after getting your scope of appointment and waiting 48 hours, this can really save you more time and help you again to process more enrollments effectively. Using the phone also opens that door for you to create and develop those relationships where you're going to build upon that customer's needs. So as you're doing your needs analysis, you're listening very carefully, you're taking in everything that they need, and this appointment or this actual phone call is about Medicare. But now you have the needs of the individual. You can ask questions once your Medicare appointment is done about setting up other appointments. Some of the negative effects of actually working on the phone is it will be a little more difficult, and we're going to cover more about this in part 2 and also in our bonus section. It can be a little more difficult to build trust and rapport. In fact, it can be challenging when you're on the phone if you're not in a face-to-face platform. So let's assume that your phone sale is totally phone sales. So someone is on the other end of the phone, you're on the phone with them, they don't see you and you don't see them. It makes it a little difficult to build that know, like, and trust factor that we all have to have. It makes it a little more difficult to build that relationship that you're going to need to build in order to get the rapport going that you will use to actually work very well with that particular customer. So just remember, that's on the downside. It's also sometimes a little more difficult to get the understandings or the interpretations of what you're being told without looking at a facial expression, without actually being in the person's surroundings or their environments or learning more about their personal environments, it may be a little hard to understand and interpret the needs that they're telling you about or what you're actually hearing. So in that case, it creates a higher risk for you to misunderstand what it is that the person actually is looking for. How do you overcome that? By asking more questions. Continue to ask questions. Ask questions in such a way that the individual is comfortable answering the questions that you have. Make sure that your customer understands why you're asking the questions that you do. Make sure you let them know that the information they give is only going to be used to help you to find the plan that best fits them. Unfortunately, because of phone scams and people calling from third world countries and things that are happening to seniors that are just not absolutely honest, it could be difficult for you to do a phone sale with an individual. So be cautious. Verify the legitimacy of your call. Make sure that you're speaking to the person that you should be speaking to. Ask for identification and ask for what plan, a copy of their current card, what plan they have now, but also be willing to give that information about yourself openly. Let the individual on the other end of the phone or in your visual meeting know who you are, what you look like, what you sound like. When you call, it's going to be you. Use digital phone contacts if you can. Make sure that you are aware of who you're talking to and that the person is aware of who they're talking to. So overall, in a general sense, selling Medicare plans by phone can be a very effective strategy for reaching a wider audience and streamlining your sales process. However, it is important to be aware of those potential drawbacks and ensure that you have clear communication, very clear communication, concise communication, you use ethical practices, and above all, adhere to every regulation that is required for your compliance. Now, what is necessary for you to actually sell Medicare plans by phone? The key entry is the same as any other. You must be licensed in the states that you are selling. So you must obtain a resident license in the state where you live first, and then you can add other states. You, of course, need to pass the specific state requirements for your resident state first. And then you need to have what's called certification. So the contracting process with the carrier involves certification. And that's done through that contracting process is done through what's called FMOs or field management organizations. That's a whole topic for another discussion, but choose a business partner that is able to work with you in the states where you want to work, is able to provide you with the carriers that you need in those states, is able to support your business plan, is able to help you to even create a business plan that's going to be successful for you. If you want more information about that, you can always text me or send me a message through Messenger, but you need to be certified. So then once you are certified with the carriers, then you start your training. And the training is going to be the same whether you're doing your Medicare through the phone or visual systems, or if you're sitting with someone face to face. It's going to be the same process. Learn that process, practice it over and over and over. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Give yourself the presentation. Give the presentation to people that you know may not need to change their plans, but take the time to compare what they have, look at what's available in their area. It gives you the practice of knowing how to research the plan and then how to come back and say, this is the plan that's better for you, the one that you have, and these are the reasons. So you always need to be able to tell the reasons. So remember, when you're selling by phone, you must uphold ethical selling practices. That's crucial. You must have ethical practices. So if something bothers you, something that you think does not sound right, doesn't seem right, doesn't seem like the right thing to do, don't do it. Treat your customers the same as you would want to be treated, or if you would want your parents, your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles to be treated. Treat everyone with respect. Ask the individual before you start to call their name, do you mind if I call you Faye? Or would you prefer if I call you Miss Horton? How would you like me to address you? Start the conversation off light. Make sure the individuals know that you are not selling them anything, you are educating. And as you are educating, you are going to have to ask a lot of questions. And those answers to the questions will help you to go through the maze of all the many carriers that are in the area and all the plans to help them come to the plan that's going to work for them now. Also, make sure that your customer understands if something changes, they're not married to the plan for the rest of their lives. They should always reach out to you. Have all of that information available for the person when you're calling them. Make sure that you're not calling them unless you have received a permission to call. So it's the same process as if you met them at an event, you have a permission to call slip, and now you're going to call, or you may have decided when you were at the event and met them that they prefer that you talk to them by phone. That's when you're going to find out which platform you're going to use, which visual platform. Try to always use a visual platform. So the first part of how to sell Medicare plans by phone is for you to know why you should do it. And that's because it opens a much broader marketing platform for you. It helps you to increase sales by saving time and saving money. And it also gives you the opportunity to broaden your horizon of the people that you can may be able to reach. If you have any questions, I'm Faye, and I sell Medicare plans. So just leave your comments. Let me know what it is that you'd like to know. Check out parts 2, parts 3, and the bonus part. There's a whole series in our YouTube channel. When you go to the YouTube channel, please subscribe and click the bell so that you get notifications when we have new videos that we're offering. Thank you again for watching. This is Faye, and I sell Medicare plans.